All right, let's get right into it. Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's not about being indifferent. It's really a smart guide to living a better life. We're going to break down the 5 absolute core lessons right now in under 5 minutes.
First up, Lesson 1, the happiness trap. It's this weird paradox at the heart of modern life, where the harder we chase happiness, the more miserable we actually become.
So why does that happen? Well, the book argues our whole culture is just obsessed with positivity. You scroll online, and everyone's living their best life, right? So when you feel anxious or sad, which is totally normal, by the way, you feel like you're failing, and that's the trap.
And this kicks off what Manson calls the feedback loop from hell. It's a doozy. You feel anxious about something, and then you start feeling anxious about being anxious. You feel sad, and then you get angry at yourself for feeling sad. You're stuck judging your own feelings in this endless, miserable cycle.
So how do you break out? It's actually incredibly simple. You just accept the feeling. You say, you know what? I feel anxious right now, and that's okay. The moment you stop giving a f that you feel bad, the entire loop short circuits. It is a total game changer for your mental health.
Okay, lesson number 2. This is all about what that title actually means. 'Cause let's be honest, most people get it wrong. It's not about apathy.
The myth is that you should be indifferent to everything. The reality? It's about being incredibly selective. Think of it like a budget. You only have a limited number of to give in your life. You have to choose wisely what you spend them on.
And there are 3 subtleties to this. First, it means being okay with being different. You're willing to stand up for something you believe in, even if it's unpopular and people give you a hard time for it.
Second, you have to care about something bigger than the little annoyances of life. If you don't have a greater purpose, then of course a rude cashier or a bad day is going to throw you off. It becomes the biggest thing in your world. And the third subtlety, which is huge, is that you are always choosing what to care about. You don't get to choose if you care, only what you care about. Maturity isn't about caring less. It's about getting way, way better at aiming your cares at things that matter.
Which leads us perfectly into lesson 3, the value-driven life. See, Manson says life will always have problems. You can't get rid of them. The secret is to choose better problems, and that all starts with your values.
He basically puts values into 2 buckets, bad and good. Bad values are external, stuff you can't control, like being popular or making more money than your neighbor. Good values are internal, things you can control and live out right now, like honesty or humility.
And just look at this contrast here. Chasing pleasure all the time leaves you empty. Chasing material success is a game you can't win. But a value like creativity, you can practice that this very second. That's the key. Good values are about the process, not some uncontrollable outcome. This story just nails the point. Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, a total rock god, felt like a failure because his metric was external. I'm not as big as Metallica. Then you have Pete Best, the guy who got kicked out of the Beatles right before they blew up. He could have been bitter forever, but he found happiness by choosing an internal metric, being a good husband and father. It's all about what you choose to measure.
So this all sounds good, but what if you have zero motivation to change anything? Well, that brings us to lesson number 4, the do something principle.
Most of us think motivation works like this. First, you get some flash of inspiration, then you feel motivated, and finally, you take action. So we just sit around, waiting for inspiration to strike. Manson says that's completely backward. In reality, action comes first. Action isn't the effect of motivation, it's the cause of it. So just do something, anything, even the smallest possible step. That little bit of action creates a spark of inspiration, which then fuels your motivation. It's a self-perpetuating loop. And finally, lesson 5. This is the one that ties it all together, taking radical responsibility for your life.
Now pay close attention to this distinction. There's a huge difference between fault and responsibility. Bad things will happen to you that are not your fault, but you are always 100% responsible for how you respond. Fault is in the past. Responsibility is in the present. Choosing your response is where all your power lies.
So ultimately, it all boils down to this. You cannot care about everything. Your life is defined by what you are willing to struggle for. So choose your struggles wisely. Stop giving a fuck about the trivial nonsense and pour your energy into the things that actually give your life meaning.
And that was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck in under 5 minutes, because I respect your time. If you want to get smarter every week without having to read 300 pages, just hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next explainer.